All right, David, we've just had an education in the tour. Do you have anything to comment on that?
In the tour, oh yes. When you appear on the talk shows in a Jewish family, that's what I was saying a little earlier when I interrupted, was that a doctor and a lawyer is less than appearing on a talk show. A talk show is like a Nobel Prize winner in a Jewish family. I mean, that's the epitome. And my family is very proud of me, and the only time I caused any tension is I bought a Volkswagen when I was at college. And that immediately set everyone off. And I realized that I had a fear of Volkswagens from childhood. I have this fear that one evening late at night, all of the Volkswagens are going to drive all the Jews back to Germany. And I got rid of it because it was placed in my head by my family. It was something I would ordinarily not think about. It's kind of, it'll end conversation, that piece.
That's, what kind of a relationship do you have with your mothers now? Do you see them regularly? Do you write frequently?
George only has one mother.
I see her regularly.
You do?
I see her once, maybe twice a week. I'm having lunch with her tomorrow.
Right.
Can we come?
No. No, it's an exclusive.
In other words, with that kind of regularity, that presupposes a good relationship. I mean, you like each other.
Yes, is your mother
Oh, yeah.
extant?
No, extant, yes.
Yes.
She's quite alive.
Is she here in the city?
Yes, she is.
Do you see her?
Yes, I do, quite frequently.
About how many times a week would you say?
Well, 1.5 times a week.
Do you have her up, or you go to her place, or?
No, most of the time she prefers to visit so she can see the grandchildren.
Does she get along with your wife?
Oh, yes, extremely well.
But they miss you constantly. Jewish mothers miss you.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in... no, look.
No, please, no.
George,
Just let me ask these
Answer-
few
just
questions,
respond.
because we see week after week we're here and we don't know anything about you.
Well,
You're
I-
asking us as if you don't have a Jewish mother.
No, I do.
All right,
And
well,
I
that's-
confess it with great pride.
What do you give her, David? How much a month? Enough to get by. I mean, I won't be embarrassing, but enough so that...
Where
Is she happy with what you give
Did
her?
you
Thrilled.
Did you grow up in the city here?
No, I come from Brookline, Massachusetts. actually.
Brooklyn,
Now, could
right.
we push on? Today, are you seeing a lot of your mother?
Do you like your mother?
Yes, I
Yeah. My mother just moved down to Miami Beach,
Yeah,
so
so
I don't
it's
see her as often as
sometime-
I'd love to, but I do call her quite often, and I try to, fly down at least once a month and say hello. I like my mother very much. I love her. She's groovy. She's good-natured. She has a jaunty, jolly way and a sense of humor. I owe a lot to her. I owe $1,100.
You
I like her, and she was never has never been an oppressive force in my life. She's been quite the opposite. She's always been buoyant and uplifting, and
Is she still kind of attempting to regulate your life a little? For example, once it was, when are you getting married? Why don't you find a nice girl, right?
in no way ever, in no manner, no.
She didn't want that?
No, someone said on the panel, was it you, Dan, who said about being happy? You should only be happy, or was it you?
I'll say it.
Yeah,
My
I
mother
said
said to me.
it, yeah.
Mr.
Yes,
Mort?
but you
Yeah.
should-
Yes, Mr. Brooks.
But anyway, she wants me to, she would like very much for me to be happy, and
Today she accepts. She's got her head out of the oven. She's happy with
absolutely.
your choice and everything.
She loves Annie, and she is very proud of what I do. She thinks my film is grand.
Which film is that?
It's called My Tante Hannah's Tish. That's my Aunt Hannah's tablecloth.
Do you
I think.
think...
By the way, a strange thing about this is talking about Jewish mothers. My mother does not have a particularly Jewish accent. She came here from Russia when she was a child, and her influence is Irish, because the only people who spoke English in the United States, or in New York at that time, the only people who were the teachers, firemen, the police, the administration, was Irish. And so my mother and my uncles and aunts have a vague Irish accent. Like, my mother will say, oh, it's all right, Mel. It's all right, baby. Go out there. Have a good time. I'm all right. Just a little thing on my side. It's all right. Go out there and play. But it's true. No, I'm overdoing it. But she has, it's a kind of New York-East, kind of metropolitan, little brushstroke of Jewish and
what
some
does it sound
Irish.
like, in truth?
Oh, my son, what are you talking? What are you talking, my son? He's tops and taps. Now, that's Irish, tops and taps.
Tops and taps.
He's tops and taps.
He's pretty Irish.
Oh, he gives and he does, and what doesn't he do? He dances, he runs, he walks.
Sounds a little Noah Coward.
He's terrific. The TS is right. He's terrific. So she does have, you know, a kind of strange, you know, amalgam of accents.
Have you've been in psychiatry 6 years?
Always.
Psychiatry for you, Dan? Of course. No?
Yes,
Psychiatry?
yes.
Psychiatry?
I was just going to say about relationships with my mother. I think I mentioned to you, David, a book was written about me about 6 months ago, and that was a hard thing for her to take. It's hard for a mother to see herself in a book.
book
I
was
wasn't
written about you.
I was not
Fiction?
the fiction, and I was not the. It wasn't exactly the story of my life, but it was built around a designer on 7th Avenue, more or less about me, and the family unit were there, very much there, and it was a hard thing for her to see herself in the book. Not a thing was like her. Nothing.
She didn't recognize
Nothing,
herself, but it
no.
was actually her.
Well, it was a part of her, yes, it was, and that was a big thing for me. That for her and for me, to see herself in print.
It's a strange
The
thing.
book was
you know?
called
Yeah.
Mr. Jack and the Greenstalks.
Mr. Jack
Right.
and
Mr.
the
Jack and the
Greenstalks.
Greenstalks. Good book.
I think I heard of it. I'm
Yeah.
just being kind now.
No,
I swear to
I
God.
know.
Right.
But it's a good book.
Yeah.
It's going to be called The Velvet Jungle in paperback.
That's more
So they'll
meaningful.
sell more, yeah.
A 7th Avenue designer. Think about that.
Yeah.
Just think about the appropriation of words. A 7th Avenue designer. We're going to make 7th Avenue 8 stories high. We're going to turn it at 38th Street. We're going to curve it at 39th. I mean, what is
You
a
sound like
7th
Mayor
Avenue
Lindley.
designer?
What is this? It's as opposed to a Broadway designer. You know what 7th Avenue is
You mean,
about?
is it just a garment center?
No, the 7th Avenue is the two distinct areas. It's Broadway and 7th Avenue. 7th Avenue is legit. Broadway is those are the big money makers. Those are the handlers. Those are the guys who go out there and knock off
As opposed-
7th Avenue
as
as opposed to 7th Avenue. Right.
I mean, like you cut like
I cut 20 of a style. They cut 2,000 of a style.
now we're talking. See? And you cut fancy goods. I
No,
mean, patterns,
good
tweeds,
goods, good
and they
goods,
cut
good
solids.
goods, right,
Solid
right,
brown,
right,
solid blue.
right, right.
Move it in and
move
out.
it, move it,
Right,
right. Absolutely.
I
That's the
understand.
difference.
How did she feel when she read about the peculiar lifestyles of
Well,
designers?
I go back to what David said. She doesn't understand. Doesn't talk about that. Doesn't talk about those things at all.
My mother loves my new record.
What's it called? What's the name of the record, David?
It's on Elektra, and it's called David Steinberg Disguised as a Normal Person. And she adores
Doesn't
it.
she call it electric? The truth.
My mother, no.
She doesn't say
My mother
Elektra.
also doesn't have an accent. She was raised by Ukrainians. So she speaks worse than you would if you had a Yiddish accent.
Okay, what does she sound like? I mean, could you give us an
I'm not good at inflection. I emulate towards the Myron Cohn Reform Temple style of talking. You know, I get a stutter when I start to speak with a Yiddish accent. My mother is only interested in celebrities. She wants to know, what is Sidney Poitier like? What is Barbara Streisand?
Is he really colored? Crazy questions.
I have the
Yes,
same,
mother, he's green.
I have more or less the same relationship with my mother that, verbally, that George had in Where's Papa with his mother. I try to shock her all the time because nothing shocks her, you know. She says, what is Mike Douglas like? I say, Mom, he's a wonderful man. Imagine how shocked I was to find him before each show shooting up. And sometimes she believes it, sometimes she doesn't. She doesn't know.
Maybe the cat pissed.
What-
Yeah,
Maybe she
got
doesn't.
shooting up with a gun.
What are you going to tell her about this appearance?
I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided. We'll think of something.
All right.
Another question. No, you were just looking at me.
I was just looking at
Okay.
you. I was just looking at you. Do you tell your mother stories?
Do you have a name? Do you have a song name?
What?
Like, here I am, I'm Melvin Brooks.
No, I don't have
I've come to stop the show. Just a ham whose finest looks. In your hearts I'll grow. Do you have a? Did you
I have no song
Did you
like
have
that.
no song?
No, I never had a
Here,
song.
you got one now. My name is George Segal. They say I'm regal. They say I'm selling regal shoes. I know a lot of Jews. I mean, we could do a lot with that name.
Yes.
Segal. How about Susskind? My name is David Susskind. I think I'm very fun. No, that's hard.
I think it's a marvelous.
I eat an orange rind.
We'll.
Steinberg, that's the Feinberg, that's the Weinberg, Ohio of Jews.
We'll be back in a minute.